Police say just down the road right here behind me, they found two young girls and an 18-month-old baby boy basically fending for themselves.
Was in that courtroom tweeting all day. She's been following the case. She is live now from the courthouse with the latest details. Meredith.
Yes, Craig, Tony Waller has been sentenced to life in prison on 2 separate counts of rape. Again, if you are against that property code, you're actually going to vote for it on the ballot. Voting for it means you do not want this new code here in Jonesboro. Now, as you can see, the railing to this bridge is already dented. I'm out here at the Spring River in Hardy, where they have just sent out a cadaver dog up the river just a little bit. I saw that dog get on the rescue boat, and that boat did take off. Missouri State Highway Patrol statistics show 500 fewer highway fatalities than a decade ago, when fatalities reached over 1,200 in 1 year. Louisiana Tech Bulldogs arrived in New Orleans today, and instead of going straight to the hotel, they actually came straight out here to the Saints practice facility. The A&P Commission agreed to give the Music and Barbecue Festival an additional $50,000 for this year's festival. I spoke to almost every bar in downtown Columbia, and they told me that distributors are still sending the Fireball whiskey for them to sell. Now here's the route he took on that chase. He went down Culver House here, across Lawson Road, actually crossing Stadium Boulevard. Hardy Police and Sharp County Sheriff deputies have been searching up and down the Spring River right here since early this morning, and they're still out there on that river. Kay Grayson and her husband rushed over to her mother's home this morning when a neighbor told them she had been threatened. The threats came as a handwritten note in her mailbox and scared the entire family.
What the letter said, it was awful.
Kay Grayson got a call from a former neighbor, Betty Williams, concerned at what she found outside Grayson's 77-year-old mother's home.
And it had dead underlined. And I didn't know whether my mom was dead inside or what. It scared me to death.
The letter shown here contained death threats and racial slurs towards her mother.
Ku Klux Klan, the first thing came to my mind.
Williams said she and her son found similar letters around the neighborhood with different threats.
No telling how many more people got that letter but just ain't reported it.
These letters have left many scared.
Nobody knows who done it. So that's frightening too. We don't know what else they might do.
And sad that racism like this still exists.
It's pitiful that that's still going on this day and time, cause everybody getting along.
Especially here in a home they love.
It's nice, it's quiet and stuff. You know, like I said, I go to an all-white church. I go there and we just like family. And I never thought that was still going on down here in Jonesboro.
On the notes, there was also a website at the bottom. And we reached out to that website owner, which claims to be the voice of the new embattled minority, for a comment, but got no answer. Grayson and her family say the threats are unnecessary and people need to learn to love.
They don't need to grow up like that with hate in them, because they're going to have a hard time in life.
Because their neighborhood is full of all different races and religions who get along just fine.
You die the same, you bleed the same color. You're supposed to love everybody.
And while the note scared them at first,
that little paper is not going to stop. The only thing it did for me is scared me about my mom.
It will not make them full of hate too.
We're going to love anybody regardless. That's their attitude.
Grayson and Williams said they just want to know who did this so they can keep these ideas and hate out of their neighborhood and away from their kids. Reporting live in the studio, Meredith Miller, Region 8 News.
Right now.
Last night, Region 8 was hit by some very bad storms. Hours of heavy rain brought major flooding to Jonesboro. But one of the biggest stories from last night is of a teen who got swept away in a drainage ditch.
And rescuers miraculously found the boy alive. And we were there moments after he was pulled from the storm drain that he had been under for hours. Region 8's Meredith Miller sat down with the boy and his mom tonight for an exclusive interview of what those hours were like. Meredith.
Yes, guys, I talked with Jacob's mom today, who said last night was terror and a miracle at the same time. She told me that when she was looking for Jacob, she was actually 10 feet away with her car, but she couldn't hear his screams over that heavy rain. And Jacob said that was the scariest part of all.
Loud when I did scream for people, no one could hear me.
A teenager's terror.
A dare gone wrong.
The mother's worst nightmare.
Told me to go home and I didn't want to leave, and all I could think of, I needed my baby back.
All happened when a flash flood swept away 13-year-old Jacob Hunter when he was playing around a storm drain.
Through my mind was how to comfort a family that was fixing to get bad news.
Jacob held onto a loose rock in the storm drain with rushing water for almost 3 hours.
Not to die and someone to find me soon, because after a while I was starting to let go.
And he miraculously survived.
I was there in the water at the less of a chance, but I never gave up hope.
When rescuers finally heard his screams,
Screaming and praying.
Jacob said he's thankful for those that helped.
Relief. Wasn't really thinking about what was coming next. I was just relief, and I was praying to God, thanking Him.
And his mother is glad her baby is alive.
And it was just agonizing.
And less than 24 hours later, Jacob could be seen at church, playing with his friends.
The good news, we found Jacob and he's alive.
Jacob said he thought about giving up a few times, but God pulled him through.
It goes all at once, the rain slacked up and the water kind of slacked down. It wasn't rushing as bad. And he goes, I got another good grip. And I said, okay, Lord, we're fighting.
And protected him.
Should have been cut up a lot worse, but God protected me.
And his mom and family are glad Jacob is safe.
I prayed, I told him, I said, Lord, I'm not ready to bury a child.
And back in her arms.
I'd done seen them take him in and I was headed straight back there. I would not stop. I had to see my son.
Jacob himself has one message for everyone else after all this.
Well, one thing, don't take a bet like this. And the second thing is, if you do find yourself in a situation, just pray.
Now, Jacob told me he was able to hold on for so long because of a pocket knife that he used to pull out a loose rock and use that as a handle to hold on. Now, he also cannot thank everyone enough for their help last night and says he is just happy to be at home and alive. Reporting live in the newsroom, Meredith Miller, Region 8 News.
Meredith, amazing. Thank you so much for bringing us that story. And
absolutely the most important thing, we're going to honor these two young men that have been taken from us.
And honor the players they did. The game started with a video memory of Camden and Will, followed by senior night honorees. And instead of running out on the field this evening, the team walked arm in arm, holding the jerseys of their beloved teammates.
They're a band of brothers, and they stick together, and they've been doing that. They're rallying around each other and, telling stories and laughing, crying together. As machos as those guys are, they're shedding tears because it hurts.
Coach Dave King said this week has been one of the hardest on everyone.
They're angry, they're mad, they're sad, they cry 1 minute, the next minute they're telling stories about Cam and Will and laughing, and they grew up together, and it's just very hard on them. They're just kids.
King said football was not on anyone's mind this week. It was only love and support.
We tried to have practice one day, and it quickly turned into stories about Cam and Will, and so we just it wasn't really important. It was just important for the kids to be down here and be together.
King thanked the community, surrounding communities, and even their opponents for the support this week. The team came out tonight playing tough with their captains numbers 64 and 15 in their hearts.
A pioneer never quits. A pioneer never quits.
Yes, many members at the Crossroad Baptist Church are devastated by the passing of one of their own, Laura Reed Mitchell, or better known to the congregation as simply Miss Laura. I actually just saw some of the congregation come out here and put up a cross in her honor. And those members say that Miss Laura's loving personality is still going to be felt throughout the congregation, even though she is gone.
Testimony about the choir, how much it meant to her, how much the church family here meant to her, just literally moments before this happened.
The Crossroads Baptist Church, which preaches, "Come as you are, leave better than you came," meant everything to Laura.
This was her life, and she loved to come.
And she meant everything to the church.
This was her family, the church was her family, and she enjoyed being here, and we enjoyed having her too.
It was just a blessing to the church, it really was.
Laura joined Crossroads Baptist more than 5 years ago.
In a couple of Sundays, she rolled in here on a wheelchair.
And every Sunday since then, she has been seen riding her wheelchair from her apartment down the road to church. And the church even built a small ramp for Laura's chair.
We could always depend on her. She was always here, And she was a testimony, to coming to church.
And when she wasn't there, you knew something was wrong.
We well knew that she was sick or something because she just didn't miss.
Besides her commitment to the church, she was also loved for her outgoing personality.
I had a good outlook on life. She was very friendly, very outgoing, Very seldom did you ever see her down and out. You know, she was always had a smile on.
And her wonderful voice.
Beautiful voice, it would just really surprise you to hear her sing.
While the church is having a hard time seeing such a horrific accident play out in front of the congregation,
It's kind of devastated us right now.
they're glad she was a part of their lives.
Thank God that she did have the courage. You know, she didn't have the strength, but she had the courage and the effort.
And they pray she is at peace now.
She loved the Lord, and you know, probably in a better place right now.
Pastor Parker told me that Laura was laid to rest today by the county at a local cemetery just down the road from the church here. And he also told me the congregation will continue to pray for healing for all of those who will miss seeing Laura ride her wheelchair around town. For now, reporting in Ash Flat, Meredith Miller, Region 8 News. Now, while the A-State Red Wolves are gearing up for that big game on Saturday here at the Superdome, a few of the players got to take a break from football today and actually connect with some kids here in New Orleans at the Children's Hospital. And this visit not only had an effect on the patients, but also the players.
It's great to give back anytime, but it's great to be somewhere. I have other people in my family in predicaments like this, so it's just great.
Freshman Red Wolves visited several patients at the hospital today to brighten their day. They brought patients gifts like sign posters, hats, and even footballs.
And trying to see how they feel about the situation that they're in.
One special patient even got a birthday song from the players.
Happy birthday to you.
Brittany Allen has been a patient at Children's Hospital for years, and she said visits like this lift her spirits.
It's very cool to have people coming in smiling, making me laugh.
Not only did the players crack jokes with Brittany, they also gave her some study advice as she heads to LSU for college.
So they got a chance to tell Brittany, how to, do a time management, thing.
Brittany's mother said being in the hospital during this time can be hard, but young men like these players make it better.
The holiday time, they're sick, and it makes a big smile on everybody's face.
The event at the hospital was just one of many that the A-State Red Wolves have done within the city of New Orleans this week leading up to that big game on Saturday. Now, Blake and I will continue to be out here in New Orleans giving you coverage leading up to that game, and I will also be live at Good Morning Region 8 tomorrow morning. For now, reporting in New Orleans, Meredith Miller, Region 8 News. Earlier today, straight-line winds ripped through two neighborhoods off of Highway 42-612 in Highland, leaving several people with destroyed homes.
It didn't last 15 or 20 seconds, but it destroyed a lot just in that short time.
Pastor Mike Stanley of Friendship Baptist Church was in his car when the heavy rains came in. He said all of a sudden the clouds rolled in and the wind picked up.
Slammed my seatbelt on and just think, Lord, just let me survive this.
Across the street, 95-year-old Jane Stroud was sitting in her home, but little did she know within just a few moments her house would be gone.
It just got dark all at once, and then the next thing I knew, it was going through the house.
Stroud stayed inside while the winds ripped apart her home.
Didn't move. I was sitting in my rocking chair, and I just rode it out.
After the storm passed, Pastor Stanley called 911 and tried to help any surrounding neighbors get out of their homes. Mayor Russell Truitt said the new tornado sirens were never activated because there was no official alert for a tornado. But these winds definitely shook up the neighborhoods of Liberty Hill and Highland Cove. However, everyone is thankful no one was injured during the storms.
Everybody otherwise is safe in this property. Everything can be fixed up.
Stroud said she has never been through anything like this before and does not want to go through it again.
I'm 95 years old, and that's old enough to be gone. It should have took me with it.
Volunteers from the Red Cross came out to help those affected by today's storms, and several churches in the area are also collecting donations for the victims today. There was only one injury out of Highland today, and that was from the storm cleanup. One man fell from the roof while he was cleaning up the damage and was taken to the hospital. Family members tell me he is undergoing surgery but should recover. Reporting in the studio, Meredith Miller, Region 8 News.